Hey gang, thanks for tuning in. I've kind of made it a tradition to do a walkthrough, not a walkthrough, but a tour of my camping setups throughout the years. So just a quick brief backstory, guys. If you're new to this channel, I do all kinds of camping with mini RVs, big RVs, truck camping. The channel started about 3 years ago, really growing when I did truck camping. I stopped doing truck camping about 2 years ago for the main reason I didn't like having a full-time fiberglass shell on my trucks. I don't like the looks of them. I don't like the added payload. So I kind of transitioned to do more different styles of camping for setups that I could easily take off my truck. And what you see right behind me, guys, is a setup that I can remove or put on my truck in about 15 minutes. It is the perfect setup for me. It allows me to truck camp, but not have to keep all this stuff on my daily driver. So guys, this video is probably gonna be long. I'm gonna walk you through everything that I keep in my drawers, everything that I keep in the truck, but I'm gonna be as thorough as possible, hopefully without all the fluff. So to start this whole thing off, I am now using the Flated Mid-Rise inflatable camper shell. If you guys have never seen this, I think you would be amazed at just how sturdy these things are. I've gotten up to 80 miles an hour on the highway. You can probably put 1,000 pounds up on the roof. You've got windows, you've got bug screens, you can remove all of it, you can have a complete pass-through. It's just a really good system if you want a shell, but you don't want to have to deal with actually having a fiberglass shell. I've had 2 fiberglass shells and I'm just not a fan of them. This is perfect. But to give you a quick idea of what I keep kind of under the bed, because I can't get to that when I get in here, I've got my cooking system here. Well, first, this is the Flated cot. This is their air deck system. This is pricey. I think it's around $450, which is insane, but it's perfect because it is light. It probably weighs less than 10 pounds. I can deflate it and stick it in the corner of my garage. My other 2 truck campers that I've had in the past, I have built a plywood bed platform that is bulky and heavy, and you can't really store it. You have to kind of keep it in the back of your truck. So it always became an issue when I actually needed the back of my truck, having to take that thing out. So this is perfect, and you maintain storage because you got these 2 fins right here. So you've got the complete, all the way to the cab of my truck of storage on this side all the way up to the wheel well, and of course under here if you want. And then on top I've got, because this is not comfortable by itself, it is like a board, but on top I've got an Ogre, I think that's what I bought. Yeah, it's an Ogre inflatable foam mattress, and it comes with a pump. So you just recharge this thing. But that's actually really comfortable to put on top of this. And I've got a 12-volt heated blanket that I've just attached with some sheet clips, I think is what they call them. So this 12-volt blanket kind of stays put right here for the winter, and I just plug it in over there to my power station. But it's nice to have kind of your back warm. And I just got a little blanket here. So underneath, I have my Jetboil cooking stove. So that's all for dinner. Then I've got this grabber bar that comes in real handy. It's a telescoping grabber bar that I can extend and get all the way up through there and pull out whatever I want. I don't have too much in there right now, but for my table and chairs, this is it right here. So I'm not gonna take them out. You guys will probably see it in another video, but this is the camping table, and this is my camping chair. Comes in nice bags that actually align pretty much perfect to slide right underneath here. So those live there. My Jetboil system lives there. Over here, the only thing I keep is a little packable down blanket, and then my propane, which I keep in this little bag right here. This is just your 1 pound little green propane bottles. Right there. So I like keeping them in this little bag. They're not rolling around, banging into things, and they actually fit perfect right back here in that little nook. And then I'll put my blanket right back there. Let's get my grabber bar put up. So again, this whole truck camper was built with the idea of easy removal and easy putting in to get ready to go camp. So I decided to use Milwaukee packouts. They've actually turned out to be perfect. I really do like these better than my previous 2 truck campers, where I built out a pretty intricate little cabinet system. It had electronics on it. It was just too much. This is perfect. So I've got plenty of walking room. And coming in here inside, so you guys can see. Again, this is the mid-rise. I'm 6'1". I do have to kind of angle my back a little bit, but I think that's due to the fact that this cot and this foam mattress sit me up a little bit higher. But the good thing about this cot is that it puts me over this wheel well. I don't have to find space in between the wheel wells. So this gets me up above the wheel well, and I've got all the way up to the very side of my truck to sleep, which is another benefit of this cot. I added some extra D-rings. So I ordered, these are actually for paddle boards, but I ordered these D-rings up here in the corner. I got some PVC glue. So I got those two. I installed this D-ring in the ceiling to hang a lantern. And then I installed 2 more D-rings in the back corner right there, and then right there. And I'll kind of explain what those are for as we move back that way. I've got my fire extinguisher kind of tucked in behind. This is part of the tie down system for the flated air topper, but it just kind of squeezes back in there so it's easy to get out if I need it. This is an extendable arm, pretty heavy duty arm that I can put my iPad in and extend it basically all the way over to where my head's gonna be, and I can watch a movie kind of laying down there not having to hold anything. I know it's it might not be necessary for some people, but I like watching movies at night. Kind of helps put me to sleep. So there's that. And then right here I just have I think everyone has these by now, these little Ogre camp lights. They reel up in here. They got warm white, colored, they flash, and they're rechargeable. So you just have to charge this up. You can't hit the power button. And it might be hard to see in the daytime, but I just have them wound up here, and they go around all the sides, the front, and then down the back. It's just ambient lighting. It really provides no actual useful light. Now my main top, I built this out of 3/4 inch maple plywood, and I just had to measure it from, obviously, the back of my, or the front of my truck bed. It goes all the way down to as far as I could get it, while still being able to maintain my tailgate closing. So I don't know, can't remember the exact measurements. I think these F-250 beds are 6'8" or 6'9" long. So it's probably around 6.5 feet long worth of counter space. And then I've got my Blue Eddy main power station. And then I've got my 12 volt, that's just a little vacuum cleaner because I kind of have OCD and I don't like bringing in a whole bunch of grass and leaves and dirt and having it on the floor in the same place that I'm sleeping. So I know it's kind of silly, but I like to keep it clean when I'm in here and I'm either cooking or sleeping. So I keep my little 12 volt vacuum in there, and I've got the Milwaukee 12 volt charger in my truck underneath my back rear seat if I have to charge up the M12 batteries. But I've got a 2-drawer pack out, and then on top I've got one of their smaller just flip top lid pack outs, and I really just put this on here to raise this up. I originally built this without it, and I just kind of felt like the shelf system's just set a little too low. Now it works without that extra pack out, but I just added it to kind of raise up the shelf just a little bit. And then this pack out's a little bit different. It is a 3-drawer pack out, and again, another one of those smaller pack outs. And I love these things because they have this bar here that really helps when you're driving from these drawers opening. So you can just push this down, that gets out of the way, and then you've got all of these drawers. Now I'm gonna put you on a tripod here. And like I said, this video is probably gonna be long, but I wanna be thorough and show you guys pretty much what I've decided to put in this truck and in these pack out systems. Some of it's redundant because I lose things all the time at camp. And some of it is basically items that over the last 3 years, I've ended up needing while I'm out doing something, camping or whatever, and I don't have. So I've put it in here. So some of this stuff might seem weird. Some of it might seem redundant, but that's okay. That's what works for me. So I'm gonna start with this pack out up here. This is a lot of my cooking stuff and kind of just, again, basically kind of weird stuff. I've got my camping lantern. Just did a video on this thing. It's awesome. It's got a warm white, a white light, and you've got this, it's probably not coming through on video, but you have nice ambient lighting down here if you just want that. So this is my little camping lantern that I put right here in the corner. Works out great. And then a lot of the stuff, again, is because I make videos. So I've got a couple of handheld tripods up here. got the all-important long reach lighters. I've got a set of rechargeable hand warmers. These things are absolutely awesome. They get hot and they work for about 6 to 8 hours. I think I paid 30, 35 bucks for these last Christmas. Don't even know the brand, but they work great, so I keep them in here next to my bed. Then I've got, right now, since I don't have a whole lot of lighting in here, I have this, this light system that I kind of put on the end of my shelf and shine it back up this way if I'm making a video, and it just attaches to one of these little small handheld tripods that I keep. So this is really just for filming purposes. And then this guy's pretty neat. It's a fire maple little glass lantern. I've had this for quite a while, but it's just got a single flame lantern, and it uses the isobutane canisters that I keep for my jet boil. So that just screws on, and you can put it here and have a nice little flame, which I enjoy. And then speaking of that, I got a couple of cans of isobutane in here. I keep my curtains. This is just black fabric that I use, some seam tape, and I've explained it in another video, but this is just my curtain that I use for my back, that when I, at night, if I don't want people to really be able to see in, I'll hang this curtain up. And then I've got all of my Dude wipes and my Clorox little hand wipes up here. And in the last compartment, I've got my little Maxpedition little organizer thing, and I just keep knickknacks in here. I've got an iWatch charger, some clippers, some tweezers, a little razor blade, some eye drops, an SD card reader, USB-C SD card reader, a little notepad, a pen, just some odds and ends that I didn't want clunking around individually, so I just stuck them here in this little tiny little Maxpedition pouch. Then I've got a little 500 watt space heater. If it gets really cold, my power station could easily run it, but it won't run it for very long, so it would just be used just to kind of immediately warm me up, unless I'm plugged into shore power. But this is a really, really low wattage space heater that's good to have in here. And then this guy is really pretty cool. This is a Jisoo Life. I don't know. It is one of those really high-powered fans, and I bring this along, A, to dust things off, and B, it also makes a great fire bellow. You just turn it on, and you can really feed your fire some oxygen with this thing. It gets really, really powerful. So this is probably one of those things where most people wouldn't think about it, but I've actually used this and needed it when I didn't have it out camping. And then I've got a whole bunch of just trash bags. And that's basically it for the top drawer. Now the drawer below it is really kind of all my cooking stuff. So in the far corner, I've got, this is where kind of redundancy takes hold. I've got a whole bunch of these like rubber spatulas. I really like these rubber ones, especially for my skillets and when I'm making eggs. They just seem to kind of scoop up the egg scramble in the skillet a little more. So I've got quite a few of these. I think I got the set. Quite a few of these rubber spatulas, and they're pretty small. They don't take up a lot of space. Got some tongs. I've got my jet boil cooking utensil set. These are pretty neat. For jet boil, they're not that expensive. I think they're 15 bucks, but they just kind of snap together. And the cool thing I like about these is it's just a regular size spoon or fork, but you can hit this little button and extend them, and now you can use this long reach spoon for your your freeze-dried meals, your peak meals, mountain house meals. So that's why I like these, because sometimes I don't have a long reach spoon, but they just kind of nest together, don't really go anywhere. Then I have more silverware in this little package right here. This is for when I'm getting fancy, and I got actually real silverware and some chopsticks for, I would never use them. And this is probably my most favorite fork, spoon, utensil. I've had this for about 3 years. It is from Tapyrus, but it's a long reach spork, and you open it up and it's got a real knife on it with a serrated blade that can cut steak, and I've had to use this to cut steak. Works really good, and then in fact, you even have a ferro rod on the end if you never had to use it, but these are great. And then my all-time favorite teak little mini wooden stir stick. And then this guy I think is perfect. This is a titanium, it looks like a bedpan, but it's actually a bowl, or a plate, I should say, but it's got higher sidewalls all the way around it. It's super light, and I got this because it fits in my drawer, unlike a round bowl. So that's basically my cooking setup. And then I keep, I'm on the fence about this. This is my Gerber strong arm. I used it last week camping. It's a great knife. It is a really thick blade though, so it is for like chopping onions or slicing onions. The blade's a little thick, but it's still a great knife. So you'll see I've got quite a few other knives in here, so I'm not gonna take it out. But that is one section. Then the next section, I've got all my spices. I've whittled it down to carrying only 4 spices: salt, pepper, kickin' chicken seasoning from Weber, and Slap Yo Mama salt. And these are just some OXO, snap off, leak proof. You can keep them like that if you want. Spice containers. So I used to carry a whole bunch of spice, and I found out that I really hardly ever use half of them, so I just whittled it down to those. Then I've got some scrubby sponges, and then kind of, again, redundancy, but I got my Stanley little pot. These things they're kind of useful. I've got a little tiny mini stove if I need it, and then inside I've got 2 cups that nest. But you can stick this on directly on top of fire if you run out of isobutane to make boiling water, to make coffee, whatever. So I keep this in here. I think these are only like 20 bucks, and they're pretty bulletproof. They've been around forever. And Stanley just makes some good stuff. So I keep that in there. And then I also keep one more little stove in case, again, something happens with my Jetboil stove or whatever. But this is it's a pretty neat little stove. It's a propane stove that folds open. And you got 3 burners on it. And I can't remember the BTUs, but I'll tell you that it cooks food. So you got your 3 burners, and then you've got this hose that connects directly up to a 1-pound propane tank. Or you can take this off and hook it up to isobutane if you want. This will work for both. But it just sits down. You can unfold the legs, just like so. And it becomes a nice little portable, really, really lightweight stove if something, again, happens to my Jetboil or whatever. So I keep this in here, again, kind of just as a backup, just in case. And then, of course, on the far side, I've got my Jetboil with the fuel in here. So this is an all-in-one unit. This is basically how I make my coffee every trip. I've got an extra isobutane canister with a fancy little covering. This actually came with that lantern that I showed you that you can screw on here. So it looks a little nicer when you're using that lantern than just a big ugly isobutane can. And then I've got a folding cutting board. That's it. So that is basically it for this entire section of my camping setup. Now this right here is gonna kind of be my, what I'm gonna call my junk drawer. So we'll try to get through this as quickly as I can. First thing, I've got a little mini Bluetooth speaker. This is, what is this? I can't remember. A Musin Mini Wild speaker, I think. I don't know, just a pretty neat little Bluetooth speaker if I need it. I've got my Olight sphere, USB-C charging sphere, and this just provides some really cool ambient lighting. You can make it look like fireworks, make it look like a flame, all different kinds of lighting options, and it's just cool to kind of sit wherever you're at in the dark. Then I've keep my Guardian Angel light in here for emergencies. These things are awesome. Just a kind of a warning beacon. If I'm driving down the highway at night, whatever, my truck breaks down, I have this in here in case I need to make sure people see me. And then a thermometer. Then I've got kind of my fire section, whole bunch of stuff. I keep a couple of these propane to isobutane adapters. Then I've got a couple of these fire fuel tabs. I keep 5 of them. Again, these work for fire starters, but they're actually made for like stoves. I've got an expandable pocket bellows in case I don't want to use that blower, but these things are great to stoke fires. And they store in this little container right here. Works out great. Then I've got a couple of torches. So I've got this lighter right here that's actually like a butane torch. And then I've got a Zippo lighter that I had made for me from one of you subscribers that engraved my logo. This is awesome. Now with me having to keep the Zippo, I also keep this. This is awesome. I've had this thing filled up for about 2 years and it's still filled with lighter fluid. So Zippos evaporate really quickly, but you can fill up these little tiny canisters with extra Zippo fuel. And this actually is from Zippo. So I keep extra lighter fluid in here for my Zippo. And then of course, some big lighters, and then another butane torch. And then my Blackbeard fire starters. These things are absolutely probably the best fire starters you can get. And one of these plugs will probably light about 5 fires. You just cut a tiny little piece off and open up all the fibers, light it. These things are awesome. We got some Velcro one wrap. Need that all the time. I've got some sewing needles and some Kevlar thread. I've actually needed this before when I was running some curtains on my other truck. They ripped and I had no way to put them back on. So I was stuck without having curtains. So now I always keep Kevlar thread, which is really strong, and some large sewing needles. And then I've got some rechargeable 18650 batteries for a flashlight that I have in here. You'll see. And then I've got 3 or 4 just bandanas, rags to use to clean up. Then in here, one of my little Maxpedition pouches, I keep my Olight Baton 4, but this was just a special edition Halloween, but it's got a charging case and this tiny little light in here that would last for probably weeks with the charge in this case. So this is one of my many lights that I keep in here. And I keep it in this, and it actually fits perfect in this little Maxpedition. This is actually, I think they call it a coin purse, but I don't need a coin purse. I just keep it in there. Then I keep my Loop Gear SK05 light. This thing is really, really pretty cool. It is a power bank or a flashlight. It's got 2 of those 18650 batteries. So I've got 2 in here, and then I've got those other 2 down there that I showed you that are fully charged. So I've got probably 4 or 5 days worth of runtime with this light and those rechargeable batteries. Then I've got my Olight clip light, which has a red light, which is perfect. Got a Nightcore headlamp, and then some more lights. An even smaller Olight clip, and then one of the Olight Ultra keychains that you can just pull off and use. I actually have this hanging up over here when I'm camping, so I can just reach over and grab it. And I've got light. I don't have to fiddle with finding a button or anything. I think these are like 13 bucks. They're great. And then I've got one more. I've got my Olight Baton 3 Max. I keep that in here. I love lights and I like changing them up. So that's why I have so many flashlights, and I don't think you can ever have too many flashlights. That's my opinion, and my opinion only. But I bet if you're watching this, you guys probably like flashlights too, and gear, I'm guessing. All right, and then for knives and tools, I keep quite a few, well, maybe not quite a few, but I keep a little work sharpener. This isn't gonna put a razor edge on any knife, but it'll do in a bind, so I keep that in here. Then just some no-name, cheap, what is this? I don't know, Sitvian knife. They claim this is D2, but right now it's incredibly sharp. But if I lose this thing while camping, I'm not gonna cry over it, but it's actually got pretty good action for a $30 little flipper knife. And then I've got the big boy knife right here that I also keep. And then probably my favorite little multi-tool for camping that if I lose it, I'm not gonna cry about it. It's the Rocktool Gen R Lite. Think of this as like one handle of a Leatherman. So you're gonna have your giant full-size scissors on one side. You're also going to have a full-size knife, VG10. And then on the other side, you've got a Phillips head screwdriver or a flathead screwdriver, depending on what you want. And you're gonna have a bottle opener and all the other good stuff that most like Leatherman type tools have. So we'll just splay this out really quick. So you're gonna get all those tools right there. And it's basically, again, just kind of like one handle that you would get on a Leatherman. And I think these are 30 bucks. So I've had this for about a year now, and I love it. And it comes with this little chintzy little leather sheath, but it helps kind of keep things organized. And then of course, I've got my koozies. So that's it for kind of knives and tools. This is probably, unfortunately, my most important drawer, or important part of the drawers, all my charging cables. So I've got USB-C to USB-C, USB-A to USB-C, USB-A to micro, USB-C. Got another little Maxpedition bag here that's got even more charging cords. Basically anything that I would ever need to charge, I should have enough charging cables for. But again, I charge a lot of cameras, a lot of batteries, a whole lot of things. In fact, I even have extra. So I've bought this chubby cable. It's USB-C to USB-C. And then I've even got like a little 50-watt power brick that I can plug in if I need even more fast charging. So that's all of my charging. And then this, obviously guys, I like Maxpedition stuff. This is called the Maxpedition Barnacle Pouch. And this is really cool because you can unzip it and it kind of splays open. But I think it was made, at least it's perfect for Altoid tins. So I can fit 2 Altoid tins in this thing. And what I keep in here is basically kind of like a really crude first aid kit. So I've got all kinds of Band-Aids and ointment and just you name it, anything that I would need. And then I even have one of these little, in case I get stung, you break that vial and rub it on your sting, and I've used them twice and my son's used it and they work really well. But this is kind of like my really quick and crude first aid kit. Obviously there's no tourniquet or anything in here, just for cuts and scrapes. Now we'll open up the second drawer and quickly go through that. So lots of lights, a lot of these little puck lights. I hang this one up. I think this is like from Black Diamond, I can't remember. But it's just a little puck light that so far it worked pretty well. So I'll hang it up here and kind of use that as my ceiling light. And then here's another one of those retractable lights that go around the corner. So I have 2 strings of them if I want. Then I've got a pair of mechanic work gloves. The all important stickers in case I run into someone that somehow knows me. I can give them a sticker. More camera gear, little claw arms that I can attach my GoPro or my little DJI camera to. And then I keep a lot of these cam straps. Use these all the time for whatever reason, but I keep a lot of cam straps in here. Then I also keep this. So this is lighter fluid. And then you can't ever have a set without all kinds of paracord. So I got paracord here. I've actually got a little monkey's fist. And I've needed this when I was trying to get a piece of paracord over a limb, and I couldn't find a rock. I can't remember what the deal was, but I didn't have any weight to put on the end of my paracord. So I just made this with a 3/4 inch steel ball, and you can tie this to the end of paracord or string and throw it over wherever you want. It just kind of acts like a really nice weight. So I keep that in there, and a little camping towel. So this is just kind of like a microfiber towel. They work okay. I do have experience where it kind of feels like you never get fully dry, but if I just in a pinch needed a towel, this is a very large towel once you unpack it, and it fits in this drawer pretty easily. And now the last drawer that I've got down here, don't have quite as much stuff, so I keep a backup coffee mug because I have been known to forget my coffee mug. This is a Maxpedition cocoon pouch, and this is where I keep all of my toiletries. So I've got, again, Visine, I've got toothpaste, I've got floss. This thing's pretty neat. It's just a wooden toothpick holder. Close it up and stick it in there. So this doesn't, of course, everything's like travel size, not full size, but it stores in this little cocoon pouch really well. And then I've got a couple of extra M12 batteries that I keep down here for my vacuum, and I have a little blower too. And then this is my Claymore fan. This guy is actually like a belt clip fan, but I couldn't fit a fan in my drawer system, so I found this, and I ran this overnight on low setting, and it dropped about 15%. So I could probably get 3 or 4 days on low setting on this particular fan. And I don't know, I just kind of like the design of it and the fact that it's flat and it'll fit in my drawer. So this is just to kind of circulate air around in here. Then I've got a roll of small bags, and I have my little TID radio, GMRS radio. I mainly bring this because I get the aviation band and I like listening to air traffic control when I'm out at camp. And if I'm close to a repeater, I can listen to other people. I do have a call sign, but I mainly just listen to the aviation band on that. Then I've got my little SC Azula. Fantastic little knife. I bought these scales from an Etsy shop, which really give it some girth. These Azulas just come with no handle scales at all. And this particular model actually extended it out a little bit to make it longer. So this little Azula now is perfect. And then I bought this little sheath off of Etsy too. So just a nice little compact fixed blade knife. One more Maxpedition thing, but this is awesome. This is like a valet tray. So it zips up, folds in half, but you can unzip it and you got all these little buttons here. And the way this works, you zip up the corners, just like so. And this now becomes a place where I can dump my pockets. So everything that's in my pocket will fit in this little tray right here. I love this thing. I bought a second one to keep at home because I liked it so much, but you got pockets here in the back. I'm not sponsored by Maxpedition either, guys. I just buy a lot of their stuff because I like it. But you've got a couple of pockets and it just sits right here. And at night when I come in here, I got my knife, I got my Leatherman, my wallet, my phone. I just throw it all in here and I don't have to fit my keys. I don't have to figure out where I put it. And again, the theme of this truck camper is, will it fit in my drawers? So yes, you can unzip it or unbuckle it and button it back up, fold it in half, and this fits right in my drawer. And then this is the patch kit for my flated. And if some idiot nutbag wants to walk by and stab it with his $10 Kershaw knife, that's gonna happen. There's people out there that are gonna do that, but I do have a patch kit in case something like that does happen. And then just another little small tripod. And that is, oh, and the other thing that I've needed before, I keep a wire brush in here. And I keep this in here because I have, at one point in time, one of my propane, 1 pound propane bottles, the threads rusted and I could not screw it into my stove. So now I keep a wire brush in case those propane threads on the bottle are rusted over. I can scrape the rust off and then screw it into my stove. So I keep one of these in there now. That's everything I keep. And again, I know some of it might be redundant, some of it might seem silly, but it's everything that I've ever needed while doing this for the last 3 or 4 years. And so that's why I keep it. Now, again, this video is 30 minutes long, my gosh. Oh, and then up here, I've got my carbon monoxide detector. This is rechargeable. It'll last for about 7 days. So it's perfect in here because I don't need a full-time carbon monoxide detector, but it also monitors the temperature inside and the humidity. So I think if we turn it on here, you can see it's 53 degrees, 29% humidity. Obviously no CO, but I just keep that thing hanging right there because I did use my buddy heater last time I was out here camping, and it's obviously good to have those. But guys, that's about it. That's kind of the tour of this camper. Now, again, the whole entire reason I built everything this way is I can take everything out in less than 20 minutes. This flated topper is only connected by cam straps. So these cam straps go all the way down to my bed cleats. You got a couple up here in the corner. You got one here on the side that has a J hook that's up underneath my truck bed rail. Right there, and then one's on the side. So it takes no tools to take this topper off. So that's why I'm kind of excited about getting back into truck camping, because I love truck camping. I love being back here. It's cozy, it feels good, it's comfortable, it kind of feels like home, but I did not like driving around with a full-time fiberglass shell, an 80-pound wooden platform bed, a cabinet that I could remove, but I never did because it was just heavy and bulky and tied into batteries and electronics. So I never took anything out. This, I built this way so I can easily, literally easily take everything out and have my truck back to being a truck the way that I want it. And I've got rails on my truck because I do have a trifold. Obviously it's not on right now, but I do still have the rails that the trifold sits on. So I don't have to remove and put back on my rails for my tonneau cover, I just have to literally grab my tonneau cover, put it on, and it locks into place. So the rails don't come off, the inflated topper sits on top of those rails, works like a dream. No leaks yet. I can't see any daylight through anything where it actually meets my truck. So far, I haven't been through a giant rainstorm yet, but I don't think I'm gonna have too many problems with it leaking. But guys, I think that's gonna be about it for the tour of this, my new 2026 truck camper. I'm super excited. This video is getting really long, so I'm gonna wrap it up here, guys. But I'm gonna try to create one Amazon link and try to find all of this stuff that I've bought and used, so that way I don't have to put 500 different things on the video description. But if you guys click on that more button, I should have one link that you can go check out if you are interested in any of this stuff. If not, I have no idea. But guys, this is my new setup. So I've already been on one trip. I've just had this on for about 4 weeks, but I spent pretty much all Christmas break getting this thing set up. So I've got a couple of videos of me actually building this out, showing you how I built it. So if you're interested, go check that out. With that, I'm gonna wrap it up here, and we'll see you soon.